Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 7 of What If Naruto Was Sent to a Parallel Multiverse. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the final episode over in Anime King 2 of What If Naruto Rewrote the Past, and enjoy that guys. Yes guys, the final episode. But don't worry, because you already know as usual, new what ifs will be out for you guys to enjoy. And also guys, stay in tune for the rest of what ifs coming your way over Anime King. And if you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I did have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for your help and your support. Remember to turn that bell notification on so you guys can see exactly when I post. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode start? The intro. So, the last time we left off, we begin with an unknown figure as he assassinates a rather wealthy businessman. Well, he was a noble. The man assassinated him and planted evidence for another village. He linked up with the rest of his squad as he made his way off. This man was from Konoha. His features were being hidden, but he had blonde hair as he talked to Minato. As Minato had been keeping a big secret, a rather hefty one. Things that weren't supposed to be out in the open, and this man here was one of them. As he wasn't just a normal person. As Minato knew that he was going after Naruto, he was following him and watching him. For reasons, he had his reasons. As Minato told him not to get any closer, for him to be seen. Because if this ever came out, if Menma or Naruto ever saw him, if they ever put it together, well, a lot of things would happen that Minato didn't want to happen. So he preferred the individual remain a secret for now. As for Hanabi, she had spoke to her father as Hayashi had spoke to Minato. It would be a good idea to have a Hyuga on each team rather than have 2-on-1. As Minato would agree with the conclusion, as they decide to remove Sakura and place her with Mito, while Hanabi came over to their team. As Sahara didn't like that one bit, as she didn't like the girl, and Hanabi was trying her best to not let anything look too suspicious, because Sahara was always around Naruto. The team got their first mission as Naruto felt like he was being watched, as he could feel the person watching him and staying in the shadows. But there was something off about the person's chakra, it felt so close. But it was not Menma, but it felt so close. As Naruto had seen his father return back in late night, looking suspicious, either he was having some sort of affair, or he was in a fight, as Naruto was not sure. He also knew where Katsume was. He could only hope that she was stuck in the 9 Tails of this time. That was the only thing keeping him from losing his mind, because she was not waking up in his mindscape, and he was starting to lose it. If he didn't get to do something soon, he was gonna end up creating a massacre and blowing his cover. So he tried to keep his calm. They were given a mission to the land of sea as they made their way there. As there was an enigma, destroying all the ships, forcing people business down the drain, as many businessmen had lost many valuable merchandise. With that, the group made their way, as Naruto was given first watch in the night. As Naruto wondered if Obita had his Mogita Sharingan, because if he had his phase through ability, he'd be rather powerful, but yet, he didn't have this. Something was just missing. As Kakashi was the leader of the other team. As Naruto wondered how his sister was doing, here he was wondering how she was doing, even though she was not really his sister. As they got attacked by the Demon Brothers. As Hanabi was there, she had came out and snuck out with him in the night. She wanted to go back and inform Sensei, but Naruto moved before she could as he slaughtered the both of them. As he made her keep quiet about it, and for him she would. The group arrived at Line of Sea as he looked around, as they spread out to ask questions. It was there that Naruto saw Haku, but here she was an actual girl, rather than pretending to be one. As they spoke with each other, as he informed her that his father was a wealthy businessman. To his surprise, she was cold-hearted and wicked here. She was not the kind, gentle Haku that he knew, as she flat out attacked him, and told him that he was coming with her. But she was surprised and Naruto removed all of her bindings on him, like he was nothing, as for the most of the time his chakra has been coming back rapidly, and he was strong enough to handle her. As he put her in her place, but Zabuza arrived, nearly slicing his head clean off. Obito and the others arrived. It turns out that Zabuza was an S rank missing in, not an A S rank, as Naruto was surprised by that. But Zabuza ended up taking Haku and fled, as he had to make sure that she was alright. Later that night, it turned out that Zabuza was the one using a genjutsu. The group had decided to go back to Konoha while Obito orders, as he was not gonna risk his team by fighting the S rank shinobi and end up getting all of them killed, as Naruto was sure by now that he didn't have the Mangekyou Sharingan. Well, given the fact that Rain was still alive, it made perfectly sense, despite the Uchiha clan most of them being slaughtered. As Naruto then saw, as Sahara activated her Sharingan. As for their entire time, he has never seen her activated before, but she had the ice. As Naruto was the one to call over Haku and Zabuza by giving away their location, at least no one saw him. As the group came over, as Haku saw Naruto, she was angry after the humiliation that he put her through. As she came to attack him, Sahara and Hanabi jumped in the fray, as Zabuza moved towards Obito, as Obito activated Sharingan and moved in as well. But Haku was fast. Using the ice mirror, she appeared behind him, as Sahara and Hanabi screamed out his name in fright and worried, thinking that he was about to die. But Naruto merely smirked, as he decided to release some of his power, and all hell broke loose. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the playtech for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. Zabuza, who was one of the elite 7 ninja swordsmen in this time, seemed to be as strong as Kisame, came to a stop. Even Obito came to a stop. Sahara and Hanabi were frozen on the spot. Everyone was shocked. The few merchants that had survived was also frozen. The sky seemed to get darker than before. The ground quaked. The chakra that oozed out of Naruto's body was unnatural. It was not blue like normal chakra. It was bordering on white. It seemed to be dull, like it was diluted, turning white. Haku was sent sailing as she crashed into the side of the port, the force of the chakra blowing her and everything around him away. The monstrous chakra spread to the heavens, as it was like a ball of exploding energy. The entire place was illuminated in the glow of his chakra. As Naruto had this smile on his face, Obito was shocked. Minato had told him to watch out for Naruto, and watch them, and report anything suspicious. Obito was confused by this claim, but Minato gave him an order to watch the boy. And now, as he looked towards the boy with that smile on his face, that look, a look of death, as Naruto just vanished. The ear seemed to quake a bit as he moved. Haku blinked as she had to tilt her head. That was the best decision she ever took in her life. The entire port was obliterated with a punch. As both Sahara and Hanabi looked at each other, forgetting that they hate each other in a moment, as they were too startled. Zabuza moved. This boy was unnatural, and if he didn't step in, Haku would die, and he couldn't allow that. Obito, as fast as he wasn't able to catch up with Zabuza. Zabuza made that worse when he flashed Johansson and created mists all around them, as the place was already saturated with water from the sea, so the mist was 10 times thick. Obito was hit brutally. His Sharingan could not see through the mist. Obito was a strong Uchiha, an elite in most ways, but Zabuza was perhaps stronger than Kisame, so Obito stood no chance against him. That was how much stronger he was. Obito could give him a good fight, but in this miss, Zabuza was a master. He was the best at the silent killing technique. A dangerous individual that Obito didn't want to fight. But they were caught, so they had to fight. A brutal backhand threw Obito away as he ducked. A few strands of his hair got cut off, as a massive cleaver blade almost took his throat out. He had to flip away as he flashed through Hansa and breathed out a huge ball of fire. Zabuza's blade got coated in water, as he literally caught the fire down the center. As both half passed him, he rushed towards Obito. They engaged in the miss. Obito found himself getting sliced all over before he was harshly kicked in the chest. He flipped several times before lightning, as he had an affinity for lightning as well, seemed to spread over his core before it generated towards his two fingers as he shot a voltage of electricity towards Zabuza, who flipped out of the way. A monstrous dragon made from water came from the sea and shot towards Obito. As the place was decimated, Zabuza then turned. That is when he saw Haku sailing through mid-air. She hit the ground a loud thud, breaking in. As he saw the blonde moving towards her to end her, Zabuza's speed seemed to triple or quadruple as he reached Naruto within seconds. Naruto turned as Zabuza's blade was gonna behead him, but Naruto ducked. Zabuza brought his leg up so fast, it cracked Naruto's nose. As Naruto was sent sailing away, a miniature fireball was sent towards Zabuza as he grabbed Haku and moved. As Sahara was standing there, hand at her mouth, he moved towards the girl with his blade as he was about to drop it on her head to end them rather quickly. As he couldn't have Konoha coming after him now, they were all gonna die. Sahara was caught off guard. By his speed, Obito had managed to get up. "Sahara!" he shouted. Luckily, Hanabi grabbed her hand. As Sahara felt everything went whoop, she was spin violently as Hanabi spun with rotation, blocking Zabuza's blade. But the man did not stop as he applied chakra to his blade. It started to literally penetrate the rotation. Hanabi was struggling as sweat started to go down her brow. As the man saturated blade with so much chakra, he was an S-rank ninja. He was a lot stronger than her. And it broke. He cut right through the dome of chakra with his blade, as he had so much chakra to imbue his blade with so much power. As she looked up at him, that demonic look in his eyes, as Sahara was out of it after being spun so violently, as it was the only way to save her life. Obito was not fast enough, but before Zabuza could end them, Zabuza had to move. Luckily, he had moved Haku over to one of his water clones, as she was in pain. His left arm was grazed badly by the technique, a dark orb of chakra that ripped flesh. Zabuza black-handed Naruto was in mid-air as Naruto crashed in the ground. Luckily, Naruto had saved their life by jumping away. As laughter could be heard, as Naruto pulled himself out of the sand, a demonic look on his face. He was enjoying it. Zabuza was strong, and it felt incredible to be in a fight again, as Naruto dived towards the man. Obito had to move the two girls from there, as he was about to jump in the fray, but there was no place for him to do so as Naruto was actually pushing Zabuza back. Zabuza clashed with the blonde blade, hitting fists. Zabuza couldn't understand as Naruto was punching the flat side of his blade. His knuckles were bleeding as he broke his fist into the blade again and again without stopping. There was this crazy look on his face. He was moving like a beast. Zabuza had never in his life saw a genuine fight like this before. He twists as he was about to slice the kid's leg from underneath him, but the kid flipped in mid-air. As he held out his hand, Zabuza watched a miniature ball of chakra form once again. He had to tilt his head as the thing passed him. Boom! It connected with the ground. Sand blew everywhere as Zabuza twisted his blade as he sliced right into Naruto's stomach. As blood flew, Obito shot forward only for several water clones to intercept him. As they stopped him from getting any closer. "You're a strong kid," said Zabuza as Naruto dropped down to the ground. "I admire that. But for what you did to Haku, You have to die. As Naruto laughed, confusing Zabuza. Seems like you've lost it. No, it's not that, said Naruto as he touched the blood. It's been so long since someone actually hurt me. I must say, this is fun, said Naruto. As Zabuza could swear that he saw, the kid's eye turned red for a moment before the kid's speed seemed to increase. As Naruto arrived and reached him within seconds, Zabuza brought his blade forward to block. The moment Naruto's fists connected, metal was bending. As that shocked everyone there, even Haku was just recovering. The blade started to creak. Zabuza applied chakra, but Naruto wiped his chakra, started to tear through his own. Naruto's chakra was literally consuming his, and it was warping. The blade cracked until snap. Zabuza was fast enough to move back, as a huge part of his blade dropped as Naruto grabbed it and twisted and threw it. So fast, Zabuza tilted his head as it ripped right past his cheek, as blood started to pour down his face. As Naruto did not give him time of day as he rushed forward. This fun, crazy look in his eye, as Zabuza moved towards the brat to slice him with the blade that he had left. But Naruto twisted out of the way as the blade slammed into the earth. As Naruto slammed a kick in his shin, Zabuza faltered as Naruto flipped over him and dropped an elbow in his back. As Zabuza winks in pain, Naruto ran as he moved towards his head and his fingernails extended as Naruto was about to plunge it in his neck. But several ice sandbones stopped him as he flipped away. The moment Naruto landed, Zabuza blade sliced across his chest as Naruto blood started to heal the blade. As the executioner blade was able to repair itself, Zabuza then sliced once again as he started to tear into the blonde. Hanabi screamed out Naruto's name as Sahara heard how she called his name, but she wasn't focused on that at the moment. They couldn't get near to him as all of Zabuza's clones were blocking the path. Obito went mad as he released a combination of missiles of fire along with electricity as he reduced the clones to a pile of water as he rushed into the fray to help his students. But that is when it happened once again. The whole place shook as Obito was blown back. So were the girls. Zabuza was frightened. Never in his years has a genin frightened him like this. Despite the blood pouring from the blonde rose. Without his hands, his body just automatically rose off the ground. His eyes were shadowed. This sick, twisted smile was on his face, like the devil itself crawling out from hell to come to take his soul. Zabuza stepped back. Haku was terrified. This thing wasn't a kid. She saw that from the moment he kept on getting up. Despite the numerous cuts and tears across his clothing, he was still on his feet. Despite the blood pouring down, he was still on his feet, and his grin seemed to have spread even more. He held out his hand, as Naruto smirked when he felt that sensation. As Zabuza felt his legs moving, some sort of pull over him, as Naruto's eyes flashed red for the briefest seconds. Zabuza couldn't tell what kind of eyes those were, but they were not normal. Haku created an ice mirror between the two, as Naruto opened his mouth without even weaving hand signs. A raging flame came out. The flame took the shape of a dragon's head as it came towards them. It decimated the mirror as Zabuza had to jump. The moment he landed back down, he turned as he blocked a kunai from Obito, who had caught up to him. He then felt something behind him as he reached out, but a black rod was stabbed into his shoulder by the blonde. Zabuza cursed as he winced in pain, but something was wrong. He felt his chakra system all messed up as he staggered for the briefest moments. As Naruto's heel slammed into his nose, crushing it like he did him before. As Zabuza stepped back, Obito moved as he slashed the man across his chest. Wincing in pain, Zabuza gripped his blade as he tried to take Obito's head off, but Obito ducked and slammed a Sparta kick into his chest, knocking him straight back. Haku jumped in the fray, only for Naruto to slam both hands together, as Obito heard him whispered, "Wind style, apocalyptic, tsunami." As the wind attack that came out of him was nothing short of amazing. With his Sharingan activated, Obito could see the amount of chakra that Naruto used, as he couldn't believe what he was seeing. At least a Jonin level worth of chakra. Haku and Zabuza was hit full on The wind was not normal either. There was tiny wind blades that started to rip into their flesh. Obito flashed through Hansen as he breathed, a fireball on it as well, as the wind mixed with the fire to create a tsunami that cooked and sliced them up. The two girls could only stand there watching in shock. As Naruto did not let up, he increased the wind to the point where Obito could not keep the fire going for so longer. But it did not matter. By the time they finally came to a stop, Naruto moved. "Wait!" Obito cried out, but Naruto did not listen. As he reached it too, their bodies were burned and scorched. Haku seemed to be dead already, but Naruto made sure of it when he placed his foot on her skull. Crunch! He squashed it with nothing but brute force. Zabuza barely remaining open eye looked towards the brat, as it was only a few words that he could say. That was the last thing he could say before Naruto created a rod and stabbed it right in his chest. As the light faded from his eyes, as Naruto burst out laughing, the laughter was not a normal one. It was demonic, dark, wicked, evil. It chilled the others down to their bones. The brutal way that he just murdered those two, and now the laughter, it confused and frightened them. Obito stood there, as his few wounds were not so bad, but as he looked at the blonde with blood covering all over him. Despite Zabuza being an S-rank missing ninja, Naruto was able to hold his own, and without his help, Obito would have surely died. All of them would. But how was that even possible? Naruto looked down as he stopped laughing, as he looked toward his small, stupid body. "Stupid body," he said, as he fell backwards. "Naruto! Naruto!" The two girls cried as they rushed over as Obito moved. They checked up on the blonde. Despite losing all this blood, Obito moved Naruto's shirt. As he checked, there was not a single wound on him. He was all healed up. He understood that Uzumakis were fast healers, but this was just incredible. The blonde was fine. He's just unconscious, he says. He turned toward the two girls, who were relief. Sahara noticed the way Hanabi looked towards him and the way she called out his name. But she wasn't focusing on it at the moment. She was worried about him. And what was it a moment ago? Why was he acting like that? She was confused. Something was definitely wrong. Time skip. As Naruto heard talking, but he didn't open his eyes. "I don't know what to tell you." The voice of a man spoke up. His body is somehow rejuvenating itself on its own. Something that would take a normal person perhaps a month or so. It's only taking him a few hours. This kid is quite the special one. Well, you ninjas always have something special about you, but him, I've never seen a case like this before. He's gonna be alright though. As Naruto heard the voice of Obito, yes, he's gonna be just fine. He should be waking up anytime soon. His blood is already back to normal levels. As Naruto heard as they spoke some more before the doctor seemed to leave. Yes, it was the doctor, as he could feel like he was in some sort of hospital, having woken up there many times in the past. Well, in his time, when he was younger. As Naruto heard Obito's sigh as he sat down right beside the bed. As Obito was looking at him, he was just confused by the whole ordeal. As the two girls then came inside, as they had food. "How's he doing, Sensei?" The voice of Sahara said. "The doctor said that he would be just fine. Why don't you two go ahead and eat something? You haven't ate anything for the entire time. I'm sure you must be feeling hungry. Here, I brought this for you, Sensei." As Sahara gave him a coffee, as he thanked her for that. As they hadn't slept, they had watched Naruto for the whole night, worrying about his state. Even though the doctor confirmed that he was okay, the group was worried. One of them, well, they were with him. The other one was uncertain about her feelings towards her best friend. Well, she didn't know that she had feelings. And Obito was concerned and worried about his students' health and safety, and not just his, everyone else. After what he saw last night, he was a bit afraid. He didn't understand or could comprehend what the hell happened. They saw Naruto's nose twitch. "Naruto-kun, are you awake?" As Sahara stepped forward, As Naruto's eyes slowly opened, for the briefest of seconds, Obito could swear that he saw red before his eyes showed that natural blue. Maybe he was just seeing things. It was the same like last night. He could swear that in the darkness he saw a flash of red. But that was strange. It wasn't like Naruto was a Uchiha or anything like that. Why was this happening? He have to inform Minato of all of this. Well, it was going to be in the mission report. Naruto helped and assist him with killing an S-rank missing ninja. Well, Naruto did a lot of the work, which was surprising and should be impossible for his status as a genin. His eyes focused on them as Sahara got rather close. "I'm fine," said Naruto. As she backed away a bit, the girl really did not know personal space. Hanabi didn't seem to like this one bit, judging by the small frown in her face. As Naruto looked around the room, "What's wrong with the frowns?" he said. Naruto. "What happened last night?" Obito said. As Naruto looked towards his hands, he then looked down towards his chest. "Well, we won." "Yes, we did, but..." "What you did? How was that even possible?" "Didn't my father tell you?" said Naruto. "Is this related to the incident about you gaining unknown chakra?" "Yes," said Naruto. "And not just chakra knowledge. Weren't you told about that?" As Obito shook his head, he was just told to watch out for Naruto and report anything unnatural he saw. But this was surprising. Things are popping up in my head, and somehow I can use the things that I saw. The group looked at him as that made no sense. "What?" said Hanabi, as she pretended to play her cold demeanor. "I can't really explain it myself. Guess we'll just have to talk to my father about this when we get back. Right now, I don't even know what to say," said Naruto. As Obito realized that the blonde was uncomfortable talking about this, as Naruto made that known by giving a rather uncomfortable look. "Alright then, we don't have to talk about it until we return. But how are you feeling?" "Quite good," said Naruto. "Actually, I'm feeling a lot better than I ever had," as he had a smile on his face. He was right. Venting out his frustration like this was keeping his mind off Katsumi, and also releasing his bloodlust, and not to mention his powers returning. He was still nowhere close to being as strong as he once was, but it was returning nicely. Some of his abilities were returning as well, but he was lacking the strength, and his body, it was weak. Judging from him passing out, back in his glory days, he could erase Zabuza with just a single movement, but now, he got hurt. They kept on asking him questions, as Hanabi made the occasional snort and spoke here and there, as she had to play her part. If her family found out about their relationship, well, they wouldn't be happy one bit, given the incident with Mainman he told me. And when their family broke apart, so she couldn't let them find out. Not even her sister knew about this. No one knew that he had kept in touch and they were actually dating. The group decided to let him have his rest. As they were stepping out, "Hey!" As Hanabi stopped, she turned towards Sahara. She didn't talk to her unless it was something important. They never liked each other to begin with. The reason being, when the Uzumakis and the Hyugas had first created the marriage contract between Menma and Hitomi, Naruto and Sahara was already best friends. And Hanabi started to fall for him, after him always being there and being so kind to her. Judging by the way that she grew up, as her family was always stern and serious, but he was the only one that made her felt loved. Her sister was good to her. Her father was stern as most Hyugas. After her mother died, he became a lot more sterner, keeping his emotion in. She knew that he cared for her, but he was just stuck in his ways, and there was no help in that. Because time and time again he showed that he cared for them in certain ways. Small, but it was generous. So she never liked Sahara in the first place, as she was always over Naruto. But Naruto had promised her that nothing was going on between them. And when they started to date, they decided to keep it to themselves for a while. Until the whole thing blew up. And their families separated, but they still had feelings for each other, so they kept on seeing each other. She glanced towards the girl. "What is it?" "I want to say thanks. You saved my life when Zabuza had tried to cut me in half." I know we don't really get along, although we work good as a team despite our lack of friendship and us downright hating each other. I just want to say thanks. Despite us not being friends, I'm not a cold, heartless monster as you think. To let you just die if I could do something about it, said Hanabi, as she turned to walk off. As Sahara just made her way, she still had her Uchiha arrogance as well. She was not going to be kissing the girl's feet or anything like that. She just thanked her. She went back in the room though, as she saw that Naruto was still awake. I thought you were going to give me time to rest. I was, she said, as she got over and climbed in bed with him. As Naruto glanced towards her, he was still confused about their relationship. Sometimes she'd do things that seem out of the ordinary, and sometimes she's weird. For one thing, she wanted him to be her first kiss, and that was rather intimate, her first, something that she would always remember. And plus they were best friends. And now she was in bed with him. They were basically cuddling, the way she was close to him. Not that he minded one bit, but he still had to keep himself reserved. He couldn't go around acting like the god that he was. And she was close to him, so she would know that something was off. Judging by her look on her face, she knew that something was off right now. What's wrong with you? She said. What are you talking about? You're acting not yourself, different. Ever since that whole thing with the chakra. Is that the cause? As Naruto smiled. The perfect excuse. I guess so. It's changing me in some ways. So if you see me acting different, that's the problem. I mean, last night, the urge to fight and attack was so strong I could not fend it off. Have you ever seen me fight like that before? Or let alone kill someone? I wanted to ask if you're okay with what happened, she said. Are you feeling any different? I feel fine, honestly. She sighed. If you were feeling bad or feeling sad, you would tell me, right? I mean, we are best friends, and you tell me everything. As Naruto glanced down towards her, he was still confused why this Naruto did not tell her about his relationship with Hanabi, given that they were so close. Well, that was not his fault. Yes, I would. As Naruto placed her arm around her, as she leaned into his touch. You are my best friend after all. As she nodded, the girl was attached to him and loyal, as he wondered how far her loyalty would go, because soon enough, he would have to break the confines of this rule that Minato had over him as Hokage. As he didn't like to be controlled by anyone, having a strong Uchiha by his side would be good. As he wondered about Hanabi as well. She seemed to be in love with him after all. She was willing to keep the secrets of the demon brothers away from everyone, including her sensei, for his sake. And he did not explain anything to her, and yet she still do it. That was good. His influence is spreading a bit, and he liked that. Time skip. Minato was startled as he heard the mission report. After confirming that Zabuza was there, they were supposed to return instantly. The man was too dangerous, but somehow they were caught. And as he looked towards his son who was standing there, nonchalant like nothing had happened, there was not even a scar over the boy. As Obita explained everything, he dismissed them afterwards as Naruto was left alone in the office. As Minato watched them carefully, his eyes looking over his son. Are you okay? He asked. As Naruto nodded, I'm feeling just fine. The things that you did, how did you just understand them? He said. Explain them to me. Well, at first it's like a thought, said Naruto. When I saw that the girls were in danger, it just reacted, and my body seemed to went on autopilot. It was like I was there, but at the same moment I wasn't really. Before I knew what I was doing, I killed them. Minato looked toward his son's face. Naruto, killing is a part of being a shinobi. I had hoped that we not have this conversation so soon. But I understand, father, said Naruto. There's no need to explain. I will do whatever it takes to protect the people on my team, no matter what it costs. A proud smile came on Minato's face as he heard that. His teachings were ingrained in his head from Danzo, but There was another side of Minato, who loved his children. Danzo always said that he had a weakness, and it started the moment he met that red-haired Kunoichi, and that was Kushina. Danzo didn't want things to go this way. He did several precautions to make sure things did not go that way. But Minato had unable to understand at first why. He had realized that he was in love with her after some time. But he shook his head as he focused back on his son. There was no time of thinking about that right now. Well, I'm glad that you understand. And that is the true trait of being a shinobi, my son. To protect those who are close to you. Even though what he was said was going against everything that he was taught, he wanted his son to grow up properly, and not like how he was grown. He remembered it. It was hell. Constant training, fighting, surviving. Left alone in the wilderness to fight and survive, to become the perfect shinobi. That turned him into the man that he is today, until that red-haired woman got in his heart, and he found out that he loved her. Danzo knew that any children that he might have with Kushina would be strong, and they would be well to serve Konoha. But Danzo also had a backup plan as well. And Minato. He shook his head once again. There was no time of thinking about that, as he focused back on his son. What exactly did you learn, he asked. Well, for one thing, said Naruto as he held out his hand, as a black rod appeared, as he placed on the table. That. Minato was shocked. No hand signs. Nothing. Did you just create this? Minato picked it up, but the moment he did, it dissolved and blew away. What just happened? I don't know. It seems like he can't be away from me for a long period of time, said Naruto, as he created another one and placed it down. Minato picked it up, but this time it did not vanish. After a while though, it vanished into dust and vanished away. I have never seen someone can create objects out of nothing before. This is amazing, my son. We will need to do some more testing to understand. What exactly can you do? Is there anything else? Yes, jutsus, a lot of them. Flooding in my mind. A lot of powerful one as well. Minato picked himself up, as he placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Come with me. The both of them were gone in an instant, as he appeared on the field. As Naruto looked around, his eyes, despite not having his Ren Sharingan activated, he could see the tags all around, and that they were activated. It has been a couple of weeks since we tested your chakra. I wanted to show me how much stronger it has gotten. Really? Last time we did this, we almost caused a panic in the village. Don't worry, this place is heavily protected and sealed off. It won't break through. Are you sure? Said Naruto. Trust me, it can withstand a Biju's chakra. As Naruto nodded before he stood in center. As he went down deep, he was showing off and he knew it. But this was the best that he can muster right now. The place started to tremble, but the seals held back his chakra from exploring to the outside village, so no one knew what was going on. Minato here was blown back violently, his cloak blowing back as he tried to apply chakra to his feet. But to his surprise, Naruto's chakra seemed to eat away at his own, shocking him as he was sent sailing through the sky. He managed to flip and land on his feet as the ground around Naruto started to break. The seals started to glow intensely. As the seals then activated even more, the countermeasure seals. This place was created just in case they had a powerful Biju they has to restrain Origin Julki. Minato was shocked when he saw the seals, thinking that Naruto's chakra was from a Biju. Countless chains shot out of the seals as they grabbed Naruto's hands and legs as they tied them up. Minato flashed two hands and they placed hand on the ground as he deactivated the seals. The chains dematerialized back in the seals. What just happened? Said Naruto, as he acted like he didn't know what the hell was going on. And he did. Somehow, the chakra inside of you is closely related to a Biju. Would you mind lifting up your shirt for me? As Naruto did as he was told, as Minato looked at the markings over Naruto's body, the lines, they were more pronounced, and they took a while before they disappeared. What's wrong, father? I'm not entirely sure. But I think somehow... No, that's impossible. What's impossible? I think somehow that you have gained Abijo's chakra. Don't tell anyone about this, okay? I won't, said Naruto, as Minato gave him a smile. For now, don't exert yourself that much. But if you gain any more knowledge and information on anything else out of the way, like being able to create rods out of thin air, come to me immediately, okay? I will, said Naruto. Minato placed a hand on his shoulder. Alright now, I'll send you back to the office. There's something I have to do. As Naruto nodded as he was gone in a flash. Come out, said Minato as he stood there, as Urkai emerged. Minato was the one that sent a signal to her once he overheard Obito mission report. Well, that was truly impressive, she said to him. Not only is his chakra strong as a Biju, it's also not as tainted. It was able to devour your chakra. You saw that, didn't you? Minato nodded that grim look on his face. I tried to stop myself to the ground, but it consumed it. Do you have any idea what's going on? Yoshino or none of the others can find out. Even when Inuichi went in his mind, there was nothing. Have you found anything at all? Well, as Urkai went over and checked the seals think that he's some sort of Biju. My only possible theory right now is someone somehow sealed one of those beasts inside of him. Or perhaps a prototype beast that was created by some other nation. So you're saying my son was made as a weapon to use against us? I'm not sure. But if he was, you would have found the tail beast inside of him. Those markings. They're not in Fuinjutsu that Yoshino don't understand. Yoshino is the oldest Uzumaki. She's a master of all Fuinjutsu. So for her not being to understand those Fuinjutsu markings, it is impossible for anyone else to create them. So most of this doesn't really make sense. And with him gaining this knowledge, what else did he tell you? He's somehow able to create rods out of thin air. What do you mean, Urkai said. Just as I said, he's able to create rods like that. Weapons? Out of nothing? I suppose that he uses chakra, but I've never seen a shinobi able to do that before. Have you? In all my research, no I haven't, but I know exactly what it is. From the past, there were some scriptures left behind. Going back to as far as the Sage of Sixth Path, who was able to create anything out of mere chakra alone. And now your son is able to do that. This is quite remarkable. As Minato looked towards her, get that gleam out of your eye. I told you my son is off limit for your experiments. But if you give him to me, I will be able to learn so much more. Minato's eyes snapped towards her. I told you, no. Alright, fine. But so far we don't know what to do. All we have to do is wait. Until something eventually happens. But if somehow he is a threat to the village, what will you do? I will not allow the village to be destroyed, said Minato, as he turned and made his way off. Urkai watched him go with a chuckle on her face, as she made her way slickering back in the darkness. This boy was truly interesting. Well, the whole family was interesting. And she wasn't speaking about Menma, or Minato, or Mito, as she smiled to herself and made her way off. Later that day, as Obito gave the group the rest of the day off, because of their mission that they just came back from, as Naruto wasn't gonna go home yet. Perhaps by now, his mother already found out that he had killed someone in his first mission, and she was gonna be all over him asking if he was alright. Well, all of them were. The Uzumakis. They were just too nice, he couldn't stand them. Everything was about family, this and that. He didn't have time for them. He was more focused on getting his full power back. Now that he made things clear that he was just receiving these abilities after he had manipulated Inuichi's mind, no one was going to question him one bit, as he was thankful for that. So when he could bring out most of his more deadly abilities, no one questioned a damn thing. As he sat down, meditating, despite his power looking like it was coming back fast, his body was still weak. After all, his knuckles had burst on hitting Zabuza's sword. His body was in incredible pain, but he was used to pain, that is why. He never flinched away from it. But the stupid body of his went into shock after he had won the fight. He couldn't allow that to happen anymore. He did not need to train, he just needed to wait until his damn power returned. But that was taking longer than expected. As he sighed in annoyance. He wanted his full power back. Being at this level annoyed him. For these weaklings like Zabuza to actually hurt him. And Zabuza could not be the most dangerous person out there. There were several others. And he really wanted to know, if Obito wasn't a masked man, then who was it? Or if they were even a masked man this time. And the Kyuubi, he also need to find that. And the current level that he was, he couldn't actually go down there. Without getting captured, he was sure that Uzumaki's had hundreds or thousands of seals to protect the Kyuubi. It was in the Uzumaki shrine. As he remembered where it was from his time, because he had used it to remove the other half of Katsumi and place it inside of himself. But now, the place was well guarded, and if he was seen going anywhere near there would be so much questioning that he would have to find an excuse for. And they would start to watch him keenly once again. It was just now that he wasn't being watched so much, except for that one individual. The moment that he stepped foot in the village, he felt the person. And the person chakra felt so similar to his. But he knew that it was not Menma. As Naruto felt someone coming towards him, it was Menma. And he felt the other person vanish away. As Menma was finally back from his mission. "I finally found you," said Menma, as he came up with a smile. "So you're finally back from your mission, big brother," said Naruto. "Yeah, it took me a while," said Menma as he sat down beside Naruto. "So, I haven't been brief about anything yet, but knowing you, things must have happened a lot." "Well, for one thing, I beat your record." "My record?" "At the academy. The training course." Really?" "Yep." "You're joking, right?" "Of course not," said Naruto. "You really did it?" "Huh, I'm shocked." "Well, I'm proud of you, but shocked as well. I must say, I thought that I wouldn't be beaten until a long time." "How?" "Well, since you have been gone, things have been happening to me." Menma looked concerned. "Like what?" "Well, for one thing, I've been gaining these jutsus in my head." "Jutsus?" "Yes, knowledge." "Just watch," said Naruto. As he went through hand sign, Menma was startled when Naruto spewed out a fire that was about to consume the entire place, until Naruto raised his hand. As the fire dissipated like that, What the hell did you just do?" "To be honest, I have no idea. I've been gaining these abilities." As Naruto created a rod, as he handed it to Menma. "What's that?" "Well, these things are just popping up, and I can do them somehow." "Have you spoke to father about this or mother?" "Yes, I spoke to father about it, but he doesn't know either what to do." "No one does." "Are you feeling okay?" Menma asks. "Yep, fine, just the knowledge, it's a lot." As Menma nodded his head. "That is why the memory thing happened to you." "Memory thing?" "You remember about you not remembering a few things." "Oh yeah," said Naruto. "It makes a lot of sense now." As he realized if he was going to play the part well, he understood that a younger brother would tell his big brother everything, so that Menma would go and inform Minato, and Minato would understand that Naruto did not know either. That was a good way to play the part. "Other than that, I'm fine." As Menma placed a hand on his head. "I don't know what's happening, but I'll always be here for you. And if there's something happening, make sure to tell me, and I'll help you in any way I can. Understood?" "Yeah, will do," said Naruto. As he shook his head, having an older brother was weird. He was really concerned about him. It just felt off. But he had to pretend the role and act like he was the happy, stupid younger brother as he agreed to Menma. As him and Menma spoke for a while, with him becoming the clan head of the Uzumaki clan, there was many things that he had to do out of the village and most of them would take him long, so he wouldn't be here that much. But he promised that he would be here for the tuning exams that is coming up, as the tuning exams were going to be kept at Konoha. And given Naruto's record and the things that he was doing so far, he was sure that Obito was going to sign them up for the tuning exam that were coming. Afterward, they separated as Menma had to go inform Minato about a few things, as he had just wanted to check up on Naruto to make sure that he was okay. After all, with all this new chakra, he was worried, as Naruto had smelled a stench on Menma. It smelled like Dango, as he raised an eyebrow at that, as a thought popped in his head. Maybe. As they separated, Naruto was making his way back home, as he decided to calmly walk the streets before taking to the roof, as he could feel a person watching him once again. As Naruto pushed his speed to the limit as he vanished, he flashed behind the person. The person was shocked, surprised that Naruto sensed him at all, judging by his movements, as Naruto could not see his face. He was wearing a hood. There was a mask over his face. It was blank, except for 2 eye holes. Who are you? And why have you been watching me? The person narrowed their eyes at him, as he just watched him curiously. They did not say a single word. Before he fled, as Naruto went after him. He was fast as hell as Naruto shot from rooftop to rooftop, until he flashed through hand sign and he was gone. He teleported. What the hell? As Naruto came to a stop. Just who the hell was that? A distance away, the person came to a stop, surprised that he was able to spot him. As he glanced up, pulling back the hood, blonde hair blowing in the wind. He's the one that intrigued me the most, the person said to himself. Back with Naruto as he shook his head, as he realized that he ended up in a different part of Konoha. As he saw Mikoto, as he wondered where Sahara was, as the thought of her popped into his mind, but Mikoto was acting strange. As Naruto saw her, went down the alleyway. He watched as she pulled out a small envelope, as there was an envelope there, as Naruto pulled himself back and lay on the roof. She gave the envelope to the envelope, who nodded and made his way off. As Naruto watched the envelope, he was going towards the Hokage's tower. Just what the hell was going on? Why was she hiding like this? As she checked everywhere before she exited the alleyway, like she was afraid of being caught. Something was going on there. As Naruto sat on the roof. Well, for one thing, the tuning exams are coming up. As he wondered, how different would those be? Well, it's gonna be fun. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to sports and do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications as they posted. But for now, see you guys soon. Peace.